So in his debates with atheists, Dinesh D'Souza very frequently puts into play an analogy that he obviously thinks is a good one, but is actually a bad one. And it's about the existence of a guy named Bill. And it goes a little bit like this. There's a village of 100 people. Some aliens show up and they're talking to the villagers, and 95 of the villagers tell the aliens about the existence of another guy named Bill. 3 of them say, well, never even heard of this Bill guy, and then 2 of them say, well, we've heard of Bill, but we don't believe that he exists. And then he asks the audience, what's likelier to conclude? That Bill doesn't exist, or that these people just haven't met Bill yet? The problem with this is the rank or the category of the item, people in this case, that's being entertained. The aliens showing up to this village would immediately be confronted with those 100 actually existing people. They have 100 examples of something of a particular rank that exists, and they're being asked to accept as true that in addition to these 100 extant things, there is one other extant thing that's just like these 100 things. But what's being proposed with the God conjecture is not that. It is that there's this one thing that's unlike everything else. So you can't say, hey, because these 100 people who are all the same rank of item, same category of thing exist, it's rational to suppose the existence of something that's not like any of them. Take $100. If you know that someone has $100 and they tell you, well, actually, I have another dollar in my pocket, it is perfectly reasonable to accept as true that if they have $100, they could very well have one additional dollar in their pocket. There's no stretch there. However, the person says, well, in addition to this $100 I have in my pocket a yellow Lamborghini. You're perfectly rationally entitled to say, no, because showing that you have $100 in your pocket in no way says anything about whether or not you can put a Lamborghini in your pocket. For Dinesh's argument to actually run, it would have to be something like this. The aliens show up and they meet 100 gods, 95 of whom tell them about the one true God, the one big God, the super God, who's more powerful than all the other gods. And then 5 of them say, well, 3 of them say, well, yeah, we've heard that there's this one big God who's more powerful than all of us other gods, but, we don't believe it. And then 2 of them say, I've never even heard of this. I thought there were just 100 gods and we were all equal. What are you talking about? And then from that, you would then be able to say that there's this one other God. But that's not what he proposes. The very thing that's trying to be demonstrated is the existence of this thing. And you can't do that by saying simultaneously, it's completely different from everything that you know. It doesn't have any of the properties of anything that you've ever met, ever experienced. So, from the fact that you've experienced things, you can draw the conclusion that the thing that's unlike all of that exists. It just doesn't follow. Or, while I'm thinking about it, another analogy would be that 95 people tell the aliens, oh yeah, there's another guy named Bill, but he's invisible. You can't see him. And then 5 people, 3 of them say something like, well, I've never heard this claim, what are you talking about? And 2 of them say, well, yeah, we've heard this claim, but the claim about a guy named Bill who lives on the outskirts of town and is invisible, immaterial, doesn't interact with us in any way, is indistinguishable from something that doesn't exist. So we just go with the idea that Bill doesn't exist. Anyway, Dinesh, if you happen to be watching this, I won't be expecting from you a reply because I'm aware that you are otherwise engaged right now. Have a great day.